Hello, everyone. This is JD Colorado, and this is Indie Comics Explained. And yet again, I brought another fantastic group of independent comic book creators. So please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video, let everybody know we're here. Without further ado, let's bring on this guy again.
Yo, what's up, kid? How we doing, brother?
We're good. We're good, man.
Let me ask you something. Is that a Bugs Bunny or Superman behind you?
Yes, it is.
Oh, man. Do I know my shit or do I know my shit? You made me happy. You made me happy, brother. Let's bring in some of the other people, and hopefully we can keep them happy tonight, too.
All right. So our resident Coco host for tonight, Mr. Marcus.
Coco hosting, back again.
What's up?
I figured out the cadence, JD. We seem to do this like every 4 shows. I'll pop up as Coco host. But for those that don't know me, I'm Marcus McNeal, editor-in-chief of Odyssey Comics, and more than happy to join these cats again for Indie Comics Explained here on Sunday night.
All right, cool. Let's bring in our first guest, Christopher.
Hey, that's me. I don't have any type of introduction. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Just introduce yourself in general. Just let everybody know who you are.
Sure, I'm Chris of Crystal, Crystal Inc. I just had a really good chicken sandwich, so my mind's on that and not on this. So just bear with me.
It's good to hear from you too, Chris. I know usually Chris and I used to be in Twitter Spaces with our friend Stokes, but it's been a while since I've
Odyssey, I don't know you, but I know you.
Yeah, you don't know me. My face is never showing, but
you know
it all together.
I'm aware of this guy now.
How you doing, John? Please introduce yourself, sir.
Hi, I'm John. Thanks for having me. I'm the writer, letter publisher for Part-Time Comics, and I wish I was remembering a recent chicken sandwich I ate.
It's a curse.
Yep.
Okay.
And show regular, beloved comic book creator.
Oh, I got to put that in my little blurb down there now. Beloved.
There you go.
Beloved creator. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was lying.
Listen, you just put it out into the internet. That's forever and for real. I'm going to clip it. Yeah. Clip
it, save it, banking.
You forgot the quotation marks too.
Yeah.
No, you can't add those. There's no adsies, no back adsies. So you said it for real. You said it for real.
There you go. So, Tom, please introduce yourself, sir.
No, everybody knows who I am. I'm the beloved regular from Big Dog Inc. I'm the writer, publisher, art director. I had chicken today too, but it was chicken nachos. So,
There you go.
Good Sunday.
All right, gentlemen, now that we got that over with, let's start. All right. So we got the show question. And, I think it's an interesting one because I hear a lot of people kvetching. So let's see. Are things going to get better in indie comics? What's your opinion? Chris, what are your thoughts?
Are things going to get better? They have the potential to, but if we just keep doing the same thing, then no, not at all.
Okay, fair enough. John, you have any thoughts?
I know I've watched the show, so I know you guys talk about all the multitude of issues that we face, but I don't know. That's kind of a loaded question, right? Better? I think they're pretty damn good. I think people put out amazing, sensational books. Are they going to get better finance-wise? Probably not, because it's not going to get better financially for lots of people for a long time around the world. But I think indie comics are the best they've ever been. There's awesome world-class stuff that comes out every week if you just look for it. So I don't need them to get better, but I would like, more people to give them a chance.
Okay, that's fair enough. Very, very optimistic. I like that. Tom, what are your thoughts, sir?
We're fucked. I mean, we're just.
See, I knew I had one to bring.
Probably somebody brings the real
Yeah, I mean, the question is hyper vague, so it can go in a lot of different ways. Is it going to get better? I mean, like John said, I think that 2 things that he said are accurate. One is just the economy and finances and everything. We can't get better until all of that gets better, because people are more apt to spend $5 on Batman than Critter. I mean, that's just the reality. So we're always going to have that fight, particularly within the local comic shop, the retail zones of things. But on the other side of things, right now, the ability to create, specifically with the advent of crowdfunding, the doors have never been more open to people to come in and do what they want to do. Now, that doesn't mean that just because you walk through the crowdfunding door, you're going to be successful, but at least you have something that is there now to sort of help you along. Even if you're at ground zero, you can, you're not going to come in and make $10,000 on a campaign, but maybe you make $1,000. Maybe the next time you make 15, you can grow slowly, incrementally. You have a little bit of a boost. Whereas back in the day, it was, well, I have to make, essentially 3 issues of a comic book, pay for it, have it all done before I even get it to Diamond and it hits a shelf. And then maybe I get a check in 30 days and I'm already 4 issues down the line. So the system right now is open for creators to do what they want to do. And in fact, something that just happened recently is it happened with somebody else, with Eric July, but it is now, that system has now been replicated by Brian Pulido. Brian Pulido has left Kickstarter, for those that don't know. And he is doing a thing now that he is calling Coffin Launch, which is essentially what Eric July did. He just built his own crowdfunding website. And so he is now doing, now I don't know if he's left Kickstarter 100% forever, but at least for the immediate future, what he's doing is that. So again, he took the crowdfunding concept, ran through it for the last, I don't know, whatever it's been, 7 or 8 years that he's been doing it. And now he's built his own crowdfunding in-house system. And those types of things can't happen unless there's some aspect of success going on. Yeah. So, whenever we hear that the comic industry is dying, that this is dying, that this is bad, and so on, there are truths hidden in those statements, but at the same time, there are absolute exceptions to those statements that happen all the time. And what you'll find is that the people that are succeeding right now are the people that aren't worrying about all the people saying, well, this doesn't work, and this doesn't work, and this doesn't work. They're just saying, it works for me, and I'm going to make it work for me, and it's going to continue to work for me, and I'm going to continue to grow because I'm focusing on creating rather than focusing on the noise that is so often generated in this industry. Who cares what someone else is doing and talking about on their show? If you don't like it, don't listen to it. Like, who cares? Like, there's no reason for us to be like, well, that guy said this and that guy. Who cares? Did you write pages today? Did you edit pages today? Did you find artists today? Did you launch a Kickstarter today? That's what we need to hear from you. Not, I don't like this guy or I don't like that guy or whatever. It's noise and it slows things down. So the more of that you can drown out as a creator, that's going to help you going forward as well. That's just going to help you internally, mentally, emotionally, creatively. It's going to push you forward because you don't have time for that stuff. Come to places that have positive messages, positive creators that are going to tell you, like, look at it this way, look at it this way, try, go, whatever. And I think that it can get better. I think step one is people just need money to spend. If they don't have money to spend, everybody collapses. That's not a comic thing. That's like
right.
The world collapses if there's no money. Right. And then, if you're really, really struggling with it, just keep your fingers crossed that we're, 6 months from Independence Day, the aliens are here and we'll just do a reset and then everybody will be at ground zero again.
Then I'm really fucked. Come on.
Do the aliens like comics or not? That's
you better have the right comics. That's right. I'm actually
no tradable skills,
aliens that are watching. I am making an alien comic book that takes care of you next year. So just wait until I get it out, and then then we can have our conversations.
I think Tom's been meditating by the lake.
Yeah, it's much.
Marcus, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Tom on this one because there's the two aspects. There's getting better creatively, and there's getting better economically, financially. I think creatively we see, just like what was said before, the quality and the average quality of an indie comic book has been getting pretty good. There's really good stuff. There's always something good that deserves some money on Kickstarter, whether from us or somebody else out there. I think the economics, of course, what some people are struggling with, not everyone, but by and large, your average indie creators probably had a down year. I know we have for sure. And yeah, a lot of that is going to come to economics. I mean, I work in business for 5 days a week, and hey, it's there too. So everything's down 18% double digit dip from 2023. That's life. That's what happens when you're both doing business endeavors and creative endeavors. And with comics, it's a little bit of A and a little bit of B. So you got to be able to roll with the punches. You got to be flexible. And I think it will get better, but like Chris said, it's only going to get better if we start doing things like a little bit differently. I think we've gone with sort of high risk, high reward models for a lot of independent comic creators for quite a while because the money has been there. The crowdfunding success has been there. Even if you have to grind and pump links for 60 days straight and do one of these shows every night, like, you get it done, you get straight by, that's getting harder and harder to do. So what I've done personally and what I've seen other people do too is scale back a little bit. Maybe the campaign you had 2 years ago might get 6K. Maybe you're averaging 3K campaign right now. What can you make with the prospects of that budget coming back? Can you still put out something quality? Can you still put out something that's going to satisfy your readers and your base? Or can you still do something interesting? And I think that really that's where the innovation comes from. Every time that we sort of hit like this new tier or new movement in comics is not generally because someone got a windfall of money and they have $1 million to spend on like the hot new comic project or IP or something like that. It's somebody bootstrapping shit together. So I think that becomes very important for us, especially as we get familiarity with creators and things like that. I know we've talked many times about people forming together in groups to like make publishing and stuff, and how that's tough because of the nature of the very personal work that we all do and the very personal way we like to market our books and craft things. That's not always possible, but reaching out across. And I think I was talking about this in the Facebook post today, that sometimes in the indie market, we have to build wide rather than building tall. The more things you can do, the better off you're going to be in the long run, because you have versatility that you'll be able to do. So if you're in a situation like us where we have a number of different titles that we're working on, well, if something's doing good for us right now, something that's a little bit tougher, we can keep something in the can or in our back pocket until things stabilize a little bit and sort of ride out a wave that we're on right now. And I think that's what's going to be the key to a lot of people. Like, it will get better. Everything goes up and down, but you got to be able to roll with it until then. If you go up, struggle on one campaign and it sinks your whole ship, you never had a ship to begin with. That's pretty much where it comes down to.
All right. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, people not wanting to get together, because Jay's always open and working with anybody. Jay, what are your thoughts?
Look, I'm just trying to stay on top of this wave for as long as possible, and I'm gonna ride that son bitch until it crashes, man. I mean, I guess I'm out of touch with things. Like, I not that I don't concern myself with what's going on with the rest of the community. I don't have time to, right? I'm too busy with the day-to-day, and I'm too busy with the comic books, right? My stuff, to try to be concerned with what this one's doing, what's that one doing. Like Daphne saying in the comments, that now that Polito's leaving crowdfunding, people are going to stop blaming them for being successful on Kickstarter for why they're not successful.
Yeah, if that was your excuse for failing, guys, you're in for a rude awakening.
I thought it was Keanu Reeves, not.
Yeah.
I lost track of who my enemies are.
I thought like Power Rangers.
I didn't know people were blaming him. You know what I mean? He was a fucking tool. not a bad tool. He was a useful tool. You look at what he's doing. See if there's something that you can
Useful
replicate.
tool. That's a T-shirt that needs to be made out there.
It's like I don't mind these big names coming to the platform because they're going to have people signing up to the platform, right, in droves that I can't do. And I don't know about you guys, but whenever I try to sell my book on Kickstarter to people who don't know about it, I spend more than half of my pitch trying to explain what Kickstarter is than I do pitching the book, right? So if I could get those people in here to sign more and more people up, the Power Rangers can, I don't give a fuck. Sign them up. It's just gonna be more people using this platform, which hopefully all of us can benefit from. Is that a better thing? I guess I don't know. Yeah, but like Tom said, that's super vague, dude.
Well, I mean,
that's another good T-shirt. Super vague.
There you go.
I'm going on TeePublic tonight, guys. I'm putting all of this on T-shirts tonight.
Just don't forget our cut, all right?
Yeah. Everybody gets a nickel.
Okay, there we all get to split those $2 from TeePublic. There you go. Way to go.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, the question is vague for a reason. You know what I mean? I mean, there are days that I feel that, we're all screwed. And then there are days that I feel that, things are going all right and things are looking up, right? Marcus, I think made a good point where he said creatively, we can always do better, right? So we always have that upside that, we as creators can always, put it upon ourselves to be better and just continue to improve and grow as artists. And that's the one good thing is that as creators, even as we mature, we still have that ability in us, is that we can still continue to get better. As far as the market is concerned, man, it's going to be real interesting over the next couple of years. It's going to be real interesting. But, as they say, hold on tight. Let's see what happens, but you never know.
Dude, look, the people who are in this for the love of it, they're going to hang through it, no matter how high the peaks get or how low the valleys are, right? Oh, yeah. It's those fringe people. It's those folks who, I got a story. I could tell them, whatever. Those are the ones that are going to be run off.
Well, we've always had, look, I mean, I've been in a long time since, 92 or whatever, but we would go to conventions, and I know all of you have been to conventions. Everybody has been to a convention. All of you have seen that guys, whatever. Issue 1, right? They got issue 1. Cool.
$15.
Whatever. $5, $10, $15. They have 30 cases behind them, right? Of that issue 1. And then you come back next year, they're not there.
Oof.
Right? How many of those of you run across over the years?
Hello.
Right? Like I said, I got a friend in Vegas. He has a wall dedicated to number 1s, to independent comic book number 1s that don't have issue 2s.
Nice.
A wall. And it's not like he has them like face out. No, they're comic books slotted in, like, wow. And he has a wall of them, as an entire bookcase filled with them. So yeah, so I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, if you're doing it for the love, you're gonna stick around. I know I'm in it for the long haul. I know Tom is, Jay is, Mark. I feel everybody here is in it for the long haul. Whether or not that happens, let's hope, right?
So it's just a matter of what the long haul is going to entail. I mean, even Diamond right now is just a disaster. Yeah. With their consolidated warehouses, and they can't ship books to stores on time, and now they might be able to smooth that out over time, but the constant regression of just our distribution hubs, that's not a great sign for the retail local comic shops.
They got rid of another warehouse recently, right?
Yeah.
Right.
They got aside from the one from upstate.
Yeah, they had a Pennsylvania one. And the story is that they got kicked out, basically. Something about they didn't own the land or the building, and so they had to get out. That's the sort of the story they're telling us. But regardless, they used to have New York, they used to have Pittsburgh, they used to have Mississippi, they used to have California, like they used to be across the country, and now they're down to like 2 warehouses to like support the entire country.
Yet the other one is overloaded. What's the other? What's the
Lunar? Yeah, Lunar grew too fast.
Right.
Didn't grow their internal infrastructure, and so even if Diamond were to collapse tomorrow, Lunar couldn't even pick up the slack.
No,
they're not even able to do anything.
They are building a new facility that's in the hundreds of thousands right now. That they just brokered the land. I heard this on an interview where she was talking about it.
And Midtown was like, screw that.
Right. We're held up on toothpicks. We really are. Right. We're not smart. We're not smart, because if we were smart, we all would have chosen a better industry. We went into this with our heart. Anybody who said they went into this with their brains is fucking lying.
But again, that's the old way, right? And the old ways always fall away. Now they might get replaced by something, but the old ways always fall away, and then something else replaces it. Right now, for indie creators, you're not going to see Marvel and DC doing this, but for indie creators, crowdfunding is your doorway to being able to maintain what you do without being in the retail space at all. I left Diamond 8 years ago on purpose. I said, I'm out. I'm going to crowdfunding. I'm going to do Kickstarter. I'm going to do everything direct to my customers. That was roughly 8 years ago. The only reason I'm back in stores right now is because Anarch Press was like, do you want to like send your stuff through us? And I was like, sure. If you guys want to do the work, I have no problem like sending old stuff through you guys. And, you know, that's been really fun to do. And we've picked up people that, you know, didn't know who we were, because we're talking about a completely different audience coming through Antarctic Press. And, you know, we're hitting 15 years of publishing next year. So from when we started to now there, and from the 8 years that we've been out of the retail stores, there's a whole new audience of people that have come in, theoretically anyway. And so that's been really good. I get people at cons all the time that are like, what is all this critter stuff? I thought this was only on issue 5. I'm like, well, let me tell you a story. And, you know, here's a 15-year story of why we have all this critter stuff. And, you know, if you want to get caught up, we got you here. If you want to just keep doing it at your store, we got you there. So, you know, whatever you want to do. But they're excited to see that even if they're going to buy it from their store month to month, they're excited to see that there's all of this that they have to get to, which is very cool. But for the most part, Big Dog Inc. does not exist in the local comic shop space. And even if I were to go to Diamond, you know, right now, I don't even know what would happen. I don't know if they'd be like, yeah, cool, man, let's go. Or if they would be like Lunar and be like, well, look, things are a little wonky. Check with us next year. I don't know what the response would be.
No, they're just overwhelmed. They can't take new clients on, new vendors on at all. But I want to go back to something that Tom said, right? The new industries, the industry changes when there's an innovator that comes, an upstart that comes and revolutionizes everything, like Uber for the taxi industry, right? It's totally different than what's happening with us with the comic book industry. Yes, there is crowdfunding, right? But Diamond fell apart on its own, right? There's no innovator taking that spot, right? There's no mass hub distribution system. There's no mass tracking system, right? It's fractured. Lunar came out because they found a void and they fit into it, and they had a chance to capitalize on it during the pandemic when Diamond shut down and almost kneecapped the entire industry. Right? So I wish there was an innovator out there for us that can really take this to the next level, as opposed to it just falling off on its own. Right? I mean we went from
the problem is it can't be done now again because all these publishers are now exclusive with Penguin.
It not only can it not be done.
Boom just moved over to Penguin.
Well, they just got bought. Yeah, but that's the point. Is even if somebody came in with this, radical idea of how to change things, this is still all stuck over here. So if you can't take Marvel and DC, you have no industry. This is why Diamond is collapsing further and further. No without the big bulk, heavy duty stuff, selling 5 copies of something to a store in Minnesota.
It's not
Diamond can't survive this.
But the thing is they did it to themselves by ignoring.
Agreed. Well, I agree. Yeah,
for 30 years.
Yeah.
Right. It was a long overdue for an overhaul, and now the little competition they've gotten from Simon and Schuster and Penguin and Lunar, it's all, now they're falling apart.
Yeah. Right. And then like what you saw with Gore right there, Gore's comment, Gore switching to Penguin doesn't help anything because all of the publishers that are over with Diamond, they're not in Penguin.
Right. There's
some of them are, a few of them are, but as far as like Aspen is not there, Zenoscope is not there. All these companies are not with Penguin. So it's not just a matter of switching to Penguin and you solve the problem. That's if you want Marvel and DC stuff, you can do it that way. But if you want indie books, Antarctic Press and whatever else, that stuff is still with Diamond.
Antarctic Press and whoever's left, right? Because
whoever makes it out.
Gone, Source Point is gone. I mean, I think Volt is whole. I don't know anything about Volt. I think they're
Volt and Scout, but they're not gone because Diamond doesn't want them where they moved somewhere else. They're gone because they fucked themselves up and are now collapsing on. That's their own internal collapse, not a distribution collapse.
Yeah,
but that's Dark Horse and Image right now.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Diamond
Distillery, right?
Yeah.
No. But guys, from the outside looking in, honestly, who wants to come in and innovate when there's less than 2,500 outlets for you to take advantage of, to capitalize on, to build a business on? And how many of those 2,500 locations are actually sturdy enough to continue going another 20 plus years?
That's why the innovation for probably us and from where the market is going is going online. The innovation and there's things going on like that. You look at companies like say Global Comics who position themselves like really well with digital readership, especially cutting their teeth on making indies their thing. Right when Comixology was collapsing and shit in the bed, and that worked out very well for them. Now they have DC Comics right there alongside Odyssey Comics and whatever else, some other creators, some of us here also hosting our stuff there. I don't think there's going to be any sort of one singular fix. There's not going to be someone that comes along and just revolutionizes from the Diamond model. It's really going to be more of an omni-channel sort of presence. A lot of different things that you got to do to really dial that up. And I think us as creators, that's where we need to have the ability to sort of kind of keep our ears to the street. When we're doing conventions, worry less maybe about going to cons and doing a booth or a table. Go to some conventions where you're just talking to people. Go around, get the vibe, talk, see what people are doing, and see where there's doors being opened that you can get into. I know for us, and one of the ways we grew was from being on Global Comics early on, because we were like one of the first publishers to start throwing our stuff on there. It's like the first con I ever did. I met the team at Global Comics there, and we built like this relationship that I still talk to the guys all the time to this day. So it's like whenever you have an avenue you can go, and I don't know how things are going to go in the physical channels, but I know for us to utilize the direct market, less so for like actual comic books, and we're moving into actual hardbacks, physical retail at bookstores and things like that, which probably isn't going to be lucrative for us, but it's going to coincide, also having those books available on Amazon, also having those books available at local retailers, like just trying to do whatever you can to spread, like I said, spread out. Like hitting the big peak, probably not going to happen, but you can bounce across the terrain a little bit and cover some ground like the old fashioned way. It's just whatever we have to do to sort of ride things out until what that next thing comes, wherever it's going to be. Maybe it doesn't come, but it's like finding those channels, finding those additional avenues. You start getting.
But that's always been the thing. Yeah, that's always been an existing thing, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we've always had to do that. We've always had to go in every capacity because ever since basically the demise of Wizard, who used to actually report on indie comics to some capacity, we have no real source, like primary source that people can go to, like, hey, tell me about indie comics. Like what's going on? Everything is so fractured, and the fracturing is part of the problem because everybody gets their information and their news from 1,000 different sources,
Right.
versus like, hey, this is the place to go. Even places like comic book, what the heck are these places called?
Comic book resources,
Newsarama, Bleeding Cool, like whatever. Yeah, I mean, even those places, it's like, I don't think anyone's really going to those things looking and reading any of that stuff. But
Right.
Wizard was something that went into the store and people actively like were drawn to. Whereas the internet is just this like,
yes,
it's just, look at all this shit that's on the internet. Like, whoa. So that I think is part of our issue, is there's no real hub. Everything is just sort of like what we do. We kind of get together and we talk about stuff here and there. And then there's fans that talk about stuff and, so on. And we have all these little bajillion podcasts, but all these bajillion podcasts have like, 100 followers and, 10 people watch a show. And, it becomes too clicky. And so anything that doesn't exist within that click then doesn't really get noticed. So it's brutal. It's really brutal. And then when we're talking about like digital comics, I still have no sense that digital comics is any sort of savior. I mean, I'm on Global Comics as well, by the way, if you guys want to check out my stuff there. But like every now and then I'll get an email from like, you made money on Global Comics. I'm like, cool. Let me click on that. Click, 9 cents.
8
like,
cents. Yeah.
I mean, what's now, granted, people are reading it, looking at it, love it. That's great. But, I do make more money on drive-through comics over there. I get notifications there. I'm making infinitely more sales and money over there. But
I really had higher hopes. I thought digital was gonna really help the independent scene, and it just, even with Comixology, it hadn't.
Yeah, I don't think it's a harmful thing, but comics inherently still today are primarily a collectible medium. Right. People read them, certainly, but they like to have the book. They like to have it in their hand, and they like to collect comics. There are definitely people that have adapted themselves. Like, I don't have the space, so I'm going to do digital because I don't have the space to do comics. Like all these are valid reasons for doing things that you want to do. But right now, comics are still a collectible medium. Physical media is disappearing. I just heard that LG is stopping the production of Blu-ray players now. So, physical media is trying to disappear, but the comic book world is heavily still ingrained in the collecting of it. Hey, there's a new cover by J. Scott Campbell. Here's a new cover by Art Germ, whatever it is. They could turn those into prints, right? Without it being a comic. But when you do that, those prints rarely go up in value or whatever you want to call it, right? So there's always that mentality in the back of comic collectors that like, this might have value because it's a comic, even though if they were to take that same image and put it on an art print, and the art print is the only way it exists, like no comic, just the print. Here's the art, here's the print, which has happened before. It's like a completely different mindset of like, I bought a print, I bought a comic. It doesn't really translate both directions. Like, you are either buying one or the other, but the collectible aspect of it is the art in comics primarily right now. That's what's keeping comic books alive. That's why there's 100 variants for, all these Dynamite books and Marvel and DC do 100 variants. Art is lifting up and keeping comics where they are. It is not advancing comics, because we're not seeing big sales, from any sort of sense of that kind of thing. Like all of a sudden there's 1 million, sold issues or whatever. Like the biggest book this year was like Absolute Batman. It sold like 400,000 copies. So, it's art is the savior currently. But I think that it's going to require comics of any kind to dip their toes into video medium, TV, movies, whatever you want to call it, animation. It's going to require that these comics have some aspect of more media elements to have any sort of trickle down to like, oh, there's a comic, let me get that comic too.
It's fair.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just what it is. I mean, this is something that I've been thinking about for a while now. I've had this in my head thinking about it. I'm like, what? You know, there's a lot of people that come on and talk about on these shows and talk about legacy of their comics. Like, I'm doing this because I want to leave this for somebody and somewhere and somehow and whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't happen. You know, that's not to say that if someone were to die, that the comics couldn't be passed to their kids and their kids couldn't keep making them or whatever. But as far as like a large scale awareness of something to have a legacy, it has to become something else. It can't just exist as this comic book. It can't just be this comic book and this toy. These are easy things to make, right? But when something is suddenly translated into video, which is the society that we live in right now. We live in a video society. When it's translated into a video, like a short movie or a short animation or something, and there's actors and there's actually like voice inflection and character personality being presented to the screen, it changes the perception of what it is.
Right.
Yeah,
So
the thing is,
read and
at that
the
point, we'll
paper
become-
products are archaic and we
Yeah.
continue to want to make these paper products that, you know, like you said, if they weren't collectible, would have
But the
died
thing
off
is,
a long time ago.
we got into comics because of the low barrier point to entry.
Right.
Right.
You know, what you're
That's
talking
true.
about is like, you know, we need to all become directors.
Well, but
Or
you and I had this discussion the other day as I was talking about, I was watching these guys who were making movies, like micro budget movies, right? And these guys are all talking about, yeah, we made this movie for 10 grand and now it's on Amazon. And I'm like, 10 grand? That's how much it cost me to make this comic book, like one issue with all these covers and you're paying for this stuff. And you have a fucking movie on Amazon for your 10 grand. And I have however many issues of my comic. I'm like, yo, barrier to entry is changing for everything right now.
Yeah.
It's changing for a lot. But I also think too.
I was gonna say, I'll tell you, the last time I was rejected by Diamond trying to get distributed, they flat out told me they want products that are different than just paper books. They want they want you to come with a plan to have, you know, tchotchkes and stuff like that they can, because they understand as well that, you know, it's not worth it to them to sell a couple hundred books for your little independent book. You got to have some sort of plan for something bigger. So
Yeah. If you don't mind me
Just my
asking,
2
when was
cents.
the last time you tried?
Probably 2022.
Okay. Things might have changed by now.
Yeah. Now they might be like, hey, we'll take it.
Exactly. Yeah. Because
And then they'll be out of business next week. So it won't matter to me anyway.
So
Right.
Definitely, you're right. The quality is low, but do you know what? They have a movie on Amazon.
I'm telling you, that new Hellboy movie was,
You know,
a good example.
The funny part. Oh God, yeah, good Lord. But even that movie is like light years ahead of what these guys are doing. I mean, these dudes are like pulling out their iPhones and making movies
true,
with After Effects and stuff, and just
Right.
making movies. But the thing is that these things are being seen by a mass public, right? Like if you just make a shark movie and it's on Amazon and someone can type into the search bar shark and your movie comes up, they can watch it and they'll watch. Oh, that's a shitty shark movie. Are there any others of these things? You know, let's watch another one. We live in a world of video combined with the mentality of Mystery Science Theater 3000. People love to watch shit and talk about it, just like, oh, that's crap, and that's the dialogue and the thing. Like that's where we are right now. That is the
Absolutely.
world.
Well, here's where
all
I'll
the time
challenge you,
because-
Tom. Here's where I'll challenge that thought process. Okay, because I've been getting more and more into tabletop game. I'm actually gonna be spending like the winter, like getting a D&D module out too. Tabletop gaming is in a very adjacent space to comic books. You look at it top down, it has a lot of similarities. Collector base, physical medium, all right? Specialty shops. You go to your gaming store to pick up your card game, your board game, wherever the case is gonna be. All these sort of factors. Look at what the gaming community has going on. Look not just on Kickstarter, but like across the board compared to comics and what they're doing and the type of money these creators are bringing in, and the type of projects are getting made, the quality that they're doing. They're fucking crushing us. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but I'll tell
These
you
people,
why.
they can
Social
put out
aspect,
a
like you
thing-
said, people want to talk about the movie they just watched.
Yeah,
They want to talk about this
exactly.
TikTok.
That's
That's
my
it.
point.
So
It's like less about the medium and it's more
Yeah.
about what's going on in the community.
Yeah,
Those
you're
sort
right.
of games,
A tabletop game or any kind of gaming in general, you're 100% right, because in that case, it is similar to a movie though, in that you have the interactive aspect.
Right.
Comics are not interactive inherently. Yes, you can talk about comics with your friends, but if you're playing a game and you've got 6 of your friends playing a game at the same time, you're interacting with that environment, that IP, all that stuff. It's the same as if you're watching a movie, except that the game gives you that one extra aspect where you're basically in the movie because we're doing whatever we need to do within the game. So 100%, that's another great example of something that you can take your stuff and translate it into another medium that is interactive. That's the key. It's not just turn it into a movie or TV. It's create an interactive aspect of it as best you can in whatever capacity that you can. And gaming is a great example of that.
Yeah, gentlemen, just give me more. I think we've talked about this quite a bit. I think one of the things we can all agree on is all of this requires money, right?
Yes.
It requires our blood, and it has to be good. And here we got good blood money. So, Curtis,
How about that?
I give that a 6. I give it a 6.
Oh, that's a solid 9 the first segue.
I'll take it.
all right. So, Christopher, please walk us through your campaign.
Okay, well, it's a very short series, about 4 issues, but it's about a woman that has to seek restitution through desperation to help her brother's medical bills by becoming a assassin. So it's a very visceral story about what it looks like when you're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel. With your very limited skill set, so to speak. Gosh, I don't have anything else to say. Oh yeah, I forgot. As you scroll right to it. It is not safe for work, very mature. So you get all the language, you get all the violence, you get the gratuitous sex, like sold separately. But yeah, no, this is my first foray into the mature genre, and I think it's doing pretty fine for right now.
So now, are you both the writer and the artist?
I'm just a writer.
You're just a writer, okay.
Yeah. So if you've heard of me or seen any of my old works, I work with Ash Kohari on Dream Metro Revolution Jazz, but this one's not from Ash. This is actually from her wife, Vice. So it's a whole different artist and a whole different style. Yeah, that's what I normally do right here.
Right here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like from here going down is Ash's work.
Gotcha. All right, cool. I mean, yeah. I mean, it looks. I mean, the art style is awesome. So, I mean, how long? I mean, obviously, as an anime, manga inspired. How long have you been a fan?
About early middle school.
Okay, cool.
I got in trouble one time. I got sent to the office, and instead I went to the library to go hide, and I bumped my head on what was a Dragon Ball manga, and I was like, oh, I thought this was just in like anime form. I didn't know it was a book, so I read it, and then I kept reading it, and then I stole it.
That's got to be the beginning of one of your stories, right? The kid who gets in trouble and
the
manga falls on his head.
You know what? You were getting too close. I think that actually might be a thing.
Listen, librarians say when they steal them, that's how they know. That's a part of the book.
Yeah.
You have to reorder them. So yeah,
you can rent it every week. Okay, you don't have to steal it, kids.
Yeah. But okay, so is this a one shot? Is it a 3-issue limited, 4-issue limited? What are we looking at?
This one is the shortest one that I have so far. So this will be a 4 issue. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, cool. And this is the first issue?
Yeah.
Cool. What type of schedule are you looking at to release? Are you looking quarterly, biannually?
This year was my first time doing it seasonally, and I will no longer be doing that. That's way too much work for me, for just little old one me.
Right.
So I'm gonna have to like downsize it. I'm thinking to do 3 this next year, and just spread them out from the beginning, middle, and end of the year, and kind of see where that goes. I'm doing a lot of offline work. I'm taking Dream Match with me to the Royal Rumble that's going to be in my town next year. and I kind of finagled a little situation where I'm able to sell it to wrestling fans, and then I have a convention right after that. But I'm trying to. I mean, earlier it was like off. Digital is here, and I'm over here quite kind of quiet, like digital not here, offline better. Me like offline, digital hurt head. So just trying new things. I realized that if I move around, I get different results versus just staying in one spot and wondering why. So it's just a matter of using experience.
All right, cool. I mean, look, man, the book looks awesome. I really like it.
Well, thank you.
All right, cool. Yeah, 16 days ago, you've already funded, so you're doing well. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're gonna continue crushing it. So yeah, man, it's awesome. Hopefully we get some more backers. Go buy this guy's book.
Yeah, it looks sick.
The book is an awesome book. All right, nice.
Yeah, Chris has been working hard too, man. I always keep an eye on what all those guys are doing. And he's always coming with something new.
I keep forgetting that you're in here.
But Chris is always a great example of someone too. Because when's your first book come out, Chris? Was that about like 2 years now?
2023.
Yeah,
it took me 3 times to jumpstart it, and then I realized what I was doing wrong.
That comes from the territory.
Yeah.
But Chris is also one of those guys where I see like his methodology and like how he's leapfrogging himself, and he's like constantly improving, and constantly like getting to a book and release drive, whatever the case may be, where he's doing this thing. So yeah, it's proof positive that you keep putting effort in. Like we were saying, do things get better? Like creatively, like that's a signifier of it. And success is going to be a byproduct for doing that the right way.
All right, cool. All right, John. Drumsticks of Doom.
Drumsticks of Doom. If anybody hasn't heard the pitch, we've been making this, myself and co-creator Dan Doherty, for about 4 years now. We're on to the second series, so we're doing the Hellboy series of miniseries to make it nice and confusing for everybody. So this is technically will be the 6th issue in the series, but you certainly can jump in at any point, I feel like, and enjoy it. But it's the short pitches. What if Black Sabbath, not the Beatles, became the most popular band in the world, and thus the universe was changed forever, musically and otherwise? Our main character, Lana, she finds a magical pair of drumsticks when she's thrust into a war to keep heavy metal on the top of the charts. It is very much a personal story about, getting out of making music and how that was a big part of my life. But I didn't think people would really read that. So I added, some monsters and some hybrid creatures and witches and stuff like that, and werewolves. So people would read it. But yeah, we've had a lot of success. It's definitely our flagship over at Part-Time Comics. We often start the year kickstarting one of these books to get the year going well, because we know people are just rabid for music themed books like myself. So we're starting this one in January.
All right, cool. Do you still have more of the plush alligator?
I have about 500 of them in my garage if you guys are interested. Yeah, Argyle has been a big smash sensation, so we decided to branch out and do a stuffed animal of him, and it's been well received. It's been really, really fun.
All right, cool. No, I really like the look of that thing when I saw it on the other show.
Yeah, we really enjoyed it. My daughter got involved. I was trying to think of some different things, in this world. Like I said, there's hybrid creatures and there's, all kinds of alchemy and weird stuff and witchcraft. Well, and I said, what would an alligator look like crossed with the spider? And she drew it up for me. I showed it to Dan. He's like, oh, we got to put this in the book. And it's been a fun experience to kind of include her. And this is the first time Dan's ever done product outside of like comics, so he's like excited. So, it's been a fun thing. I'm not always big on the tchotchkes, but I have had to realize, like Tom was saying, that I hate floppies. I hate variant covers, but it's not about me, right? I have to present to the audience what they want and let them decide. So it's been cool to see, there's just a lot of people that enjoy this. They want stuff outside of the pages of the book, patches and stickers and all kinds of, real metal covers and things like that. I've really had to come around in my old age and finally realized that that's a big part of supporting these books is having cool stuff like that.
All right. Cool. When are you looking to launch?
We are launching January 14th.
All right, cool. Listen, everybody, sign up. It's coming out soon.
Yeah, it really helps. I think people these days, it's hard to get them excited to click that link, but
Mhm.
you know, even if you can't back, if you get notified and then you just give it a quick share on your favorite social media or something, it really helps. As you all know, in
Yep.
this day and age, everything's just squashed. So all the help in getting the word out. I mean, from being in a band, you know, I remember the days of being on street teams for local bands and handing out their CDs. It's the same. We need the same energy in indie comics. We need your help, even if you can't. You know, it might go further than your dollar support when you share and talk about it and get excited. It really does help.
All right, cool. Looks awesome. Looks awesome. Cool. And that's what the second, I guess, arc that you've done
Yeah.
in the series. Right?
Yeah, it's planned to be 3 arcs, so this is the middle arc. You know, she got the band together in the first arc. Now she got to go and record her album on the mysterious Silver Mountain. And then, of course, the next arc, well, if you're musically inclined, you can probably understand what that means. But yeah, we'll save some of the secrets. But yeah, it's planned to be 3 arcs, so we're right in the middle of it.
All right, cool. Now we got Iverian. So Marcus, talk to me.
Yes, sir. So Iverian is the return of our dark fantasy series and was the inaugural thing that we launched for Paradox Entertainment, our imprint over at Odyssey Comics. This is courtesy of writer-artist Luca Bricco, where we delve a bit deeper into the Iverian saga following on releasing chapters 1 and 2. Now we got chapter 3 ready right now. Totals in at a whopping 92 pages. So it's going to be a fat book for you, a lot to read. And this recounts the story of King Baron, who this whole saga starts with him, and his daughter, Princess Lisa, who's also the sister of the characters that we meet in the first chapter of Iverian. So this is where everything starts weaving together. It becomes less of like that anthology feel to it, and you start to get all that good connective tissue for the book going forward. So this one, of course, we're funded already. That feels good. Looks like we're on track to do pretty similar numbers to what we did the first time around. And yeah, this is something we're going to be putting out consistently. Luca's been hard to work on it. We got chapter 4 in process already, so that's going to be ready to go in 2025. And just keep building from there. We're in it for the long haul.
All right, cool. You said there were
Go
6
ahead.
issues. There were 6 issues in the series.
I think that's what we were initially looking at first, but we're just going to kind of see where it is because the way we're going about the process, we're getting chunky amounts of book and chunky amount of story.
Right.
So with the completion of chapter 4 coming up, you're going to have, this is the first volume hardcover. So we're going to have a second one that's going to have collected 3 and 4 together on the next campaign. So you're already getting like really hefty amounts of the book. So I think we could sustain it for quite a bit longer and see where it takes us because he's built a really cool world. I love reading it too. Actually, we were talking about things earlier. This is something I came across on Global Comics. So before Luca ever pitched this to me, I was already reading Iverian. And he has really, really great readership on there, like tens of thousands of reads and everything on it. So we were able to take this comic when we go into the physical, already pitch it to people who are reading it and already familiar with it, and really lower our bar of success and entry, like coming into it. Now, of course, all those readers aren't going to translate over to, back into physical book and Kickstarter, but it's going to give you a really firm base that you can get started with. And having success at that is also allowing us to start a whole another imprint where we're going to be doing, more things in this vein and this style coming soon, and more projects, of course, we're going to be announcing in 2025.
Nice.
Very nice. Yeah, I mean his art is really, really nice.
Yep, we got all of our stretch rewards unlocked too, so you get additional artwork. So you get the chibi sticker. You also get the King Baron print. Those come free with any physical pledge, no matter what your tier. And I'm going to try to see if I can throw something special in for the holidays too for everybody picking up the book physically. We also just opened up some new tiers too because we were getting some new people that were coming along. And at first we were going to keep the hardcover that we have exclusive to the first campaign. The same thing with the arena figurine too. And I decided to bring those back because we're finding those new people and give them the ability to go back to the stuff we had in the first campaign and pick some of those up too.
Gotcha. That's cool. That's good. Yeah, man, the stuff looks great. I mean, I don't even know what to say.
Super sick.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I mean, look, the guy's really, really good.
Yeah, and this is another one that's going to be kind of like a testament to how we're doing things too, because Iberian 1 and 2, the hardcover, we're going to be putting that towards the direct market and get the hardcover edition going in bookstores, Amazon. I'll see if I want to get beat over the head and try to pitch it to anywhere else. It sounds like the comic shop distribution thing might be on hold for a little bit. We got other avenues to go. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep doing our best. Oh, we got Project We Love badge too. That I think that came late in the game for us, but that was good to see. So we're gonna keep trying to do new, interesting things with Odyssey and Paradox, and this has been another thing for me too. It's like we were talking a little bit earlier about things getting better. Like I knew it was going to be a tough year for everything that we wanted to do, but one of the cool things we've done is I've built a whole another wing and another audience and everything from being able to do Paradox and bring things like Iberian that's very different from the stuff we were doing at Odyssey. So that's just kind of one approach that you can take to do things a little bit to get more stuff out there and find different avenues for creating as much as you can, really.
All right. Listen, man, it looks awesome. I don't even, it looks great. Yeah. I'm going to have to jump in on that one at some point.
Luca don't disappoint either. I've been throwing them on some of our other projects too. I think he did our cover for Dark Star Anthologies, which we got funded. We got the comics coming in next week. So I love doing that too, building things out and then keep stuff coming back.
Gotcha. This is my campaign. This is the Oswald Chronicles. When Ten of Souls Mourn, issues 1 through 4, when Oswald encounters a young lady by the name of Lydia. She's a cursed soul who finds his way into his life, and he befriends her, and he doesn't want to abandon her, but yet his other friends, they say, listen, she's not good news. There's nothing there but sadness and sorrow, and that's what this story entails. So there you go. So this is issues 1 through 4, and it's the complete story. So that's the entire story. Is issues 1 through 4. It's kind of like what Jon was talking about is these series. The way I run the series is all of them are encapsulated. Once I have them, the 4 issues, that's the entire story. So I run along that Hellboy Grendel model as well. So there you go. So go check it out. There's another 3 days left. So is that all right? Jay, you're up.
Sorry. Whatchamacallit? Marcus had brought up omni-channel a few times, and we were talking about different places to generate revenue, right? If you only had time to focus on one, which one gives you the best bang for your buck? Is it direct online sales? Is it a crowdfunding platform? Is it conventions? Is it direct market? If you only had time to focus on one, where would you put all your energy into?
I mean, it's crowdfunding for me. Okay. Nothing gets the excitement like that. I feel like we do pretty well if we get the right crowd at a convention, and you can usually get people hyped because, some of the books are kind of an easy pitch if you find the music fans out there, or, we've done some horror books and stuff, but it's just crowdfunding. It's the only reason I can do books. I've been doing it for 15 years. 20 something campaigns in across, mostly Kickstarter, but other ones as well. If it wasn't for crowdfunding, we wouldn't be able to do it. If I do an online sale and I hype it up and I email it to my, my mailing list, and I give discounts, or I say free if you back, get this free thing if you back, it's still, you get, a handful of orders. But you put it on crowdfunding and 150 people show up for most of ours. So we're very fortunate that we have a loyal crowdfunding fan base.
Nice.
All right. Tom?
Yeah, the answer is crowdfunding, but the answer is also it can't be one. It's impossible for it to be one.
Because that was not the question, Tom.
Yes, it is. You said which one would you put all your time into?
Yes.
Yes, you can't. That's the real answer.
Right,
but
that's true.
You can put the primary amount of your time into crowdfunding, which then you lead them from that, which has to be sort of your starting point. that has to lead then back to your social media, to your website, to your
I
eBay,
hear
to
you.
your
I understand.
So-
but let me give you the reason why I asked that question.
Okay.
And this is not knocking anyone
Yep.
at all. Please understand this. This is when you're first coming into this and you try to handle omni-channel. All right. There's too many plates for you to spin, and you're bound to shit the bed on all of them. Right. So if you needed to come in and just focus on one just to get yourself established, which one are you going to put your energy into first? So let me add that. Okay.
You can't. You can't. No, I'll tell
He's
you
not
why.
wrong.
Because
He's not wrong.
now, if I were to say, okay, I'm at the ground zero and I'm going to go make a crowdfunder, I'm going to fail because I have no social media telling people that exists.
I think starting out, especially, you
I
really
have no
need
social media telling people what I do, who I am. I have no art to present. It's just vacuum, and here's a campaign. You'll fail. So again, you can't. You have to focus on the thing that is going to give you the best kickstart for sure. But again, it's the focus, right? But that's going to be different for different people. Some people are really great at social media. Some people are really great with TikToks and videos and, doing the presentation side of themselves and their product and so on. Other people are really great with just the technical aspect. I can build a campaign that looks awesome and I can present this thing. So you kind of have to take that within yourself and say, which one of these am I the best at? That's where 75% of my time goes. And then the other 25% is the other three things that sort of have to create your, the entire wheel that you have to make a selling platform.
Absolutely. I think I put the bulk of my time in crowdfunding now because of where I'm at. But definitely starting out, you couldn't.
Yes.
You throw it up on Kickstarter, you'll get 5 backers. It's not the same as it was before. There used to be casual people who would come.
Yeah.
But to Jay's defense, I also hate when Tom is right. So yeah.
There's another shirt. I'm writing that down on my list. I hate when Tom is right. I'm gonna wear that at cons too.
Chris, what are your thoughts?
I've done all three, and I would probably bank more on in person. Anything that could be away from offline. Just because I feel like being anonymous is a big wall. So when you're trying to present yourself or your books to certain people already have a notion for what they like and what they want. And so when they talk to you, you're kind of talking against a random number generated person. It's not like an actual thing. When you're in person, especially when you are in person in certain places where people are going there to do exactly what you are selling, there is no guesswork. People are there for the book, so there is no extra work needed, other than is my book good enough for what they want. But at least they're there to read. People go online to be entertained. So when you put something in front of them, now all of a sudden you have to go up against a much bigger boss that you can't even really see, and they've already decided 20 minutes prior, what they want and what they what it is. So no, offline for me.
All right, that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Marcus, what are your thoughts?
I mean, if I was smart, I could out of it completely. I'd just focus on, being an artist. Because the only investment is my time. So it's just all profit. The ROI isn't insane. But no, I think right now the surest bet is crowdfunding. As Tom mentioned, all the supplemental activities you have to do to make the crowdfunding possible. So it's not any single lane you can walk, but they're all going in the same directions.
All right, cool.
It's a multi-lane highway there, Jay.
Yes, sir.
I know it
Listen,
is.
you can only stay in one lane.
And
Tom
each
drives,
one has
Tom
different
weaves between.
speed limits. That's what you have to look at. There's the fast lane, and then there's the slower lane.
I'm trying to be like even keel today. Last time I was here, I was getting phone calls from the wife that I need to relax. I'm trying to be suave, bro. Let me be suave. Let me not.
As a matter Listen, he's trying to so keep it away from his wife. He's not even streaming it through his channel.
Dude,
because normally he
my
streams it through
entire
his channel.
laptop reset, and I don't know my fucking passwords without my wife. I don't know any of the platform stuff, dude. Oh my god.
This is why Jay is saying only focus on one thing.
Yeah.
It's too much to do one.
I'm that guy. I
I
need that answer for myself.
No.
Listen, if we were all smart 4 years ago, we all dumped $10,000 into Dogecoin. That's what if we were all smart. That's what happened. Yeah, I mean, listen, I have to agree with everybody else. I think at the moment, I think the key thing is, crowdfunding. So, yeah. You okay, Jay?
Yeah. You see the latest comment? You see the latest comment?
Oh, yeah, I didn't see it.
That's another T-shirt right there. I'm doing that one as another T-shirt.
There you go.
Can we stop giving fucking Tom more money?
Tom has to pay out royalties. What are you talking about?
I think I'm kidding too, right? Like, here's the list. It's happening.
You know,
I'm gonna make a mint.
Not a bit. It's not a bit.
not a bit. Listen, I was having a conversation with Daphne the other day, and she pointed out something that I found very, very interesting. She said there have been two innovations that have really affected indie comics, I guess, in the last 15, 20 years, right? The first one is POD printing, right? That changed the game huge for I would say all of us. The second one is crowdfunding. Those are the two things that have really changed the market.
Really?
Correct.
For
It's allowed us
independent
to
comics.
get away from the gatekeepers. Let's
Right.
be honest. I mean,
Mhm.
that was a big wall for so many of us.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
prior to POD, I was still doing the fanzines. I was doing,
Right.
the ash cans.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I mean, but see, what's funny is if you knew what you were doing,
And I did
Right.
it.
right?
Absolutely
No. But what I mean is, like, if you actually knew print, because once you had copiers,
Right.
you could do POD. Like, once I had access to a really good printer, right? If you could, like, if I have a I've been in printing forever, but I have if I got a Docutech, right, and I started printing on that, I was able to produce pro level books that were close enough to offset that people would have a hard time telling them apart.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Once I had color printers that could do color like really nice, because it was for a while it was kind of shitty, and then it got better. Probably around the late 90s, it got really good. Once you get that, if you got a scoring machine, you got a booklet maker and cutters, if you know how to operate all that stuff, you could make comics.
But I did. All right. I ended up even getting the long 1 foot weld stapler, and I got two of them and had them together on a clamp.
That's not a
Right?
booklet maker.
I'd hit it one time.
Yeah, that's not a booklet maker. It's
He
not a
was doing
booklet
it, all right.
maker.
Yeah.
It is in theory, JD. Give us.
Yeah, I mean, it's very,
I'll say you haven't made it in comics yet until you photocopy your own book, staple it, fold it, try and
yeah.
sell it. That's the true mark of feeling like you've made it.
Oh, yeah, look, I'll tell you a story. One year, I went to what's that independent show in Maryland?
SPX.
No, that's Massachusetts.
SPX. Yes, I went to SPX one year, and we had all ash cans of all our books. Tall Tales, we had like tons of them. We killed at that show. I mean, we bought about 100. We had like 8 issues. We bought about 100 of each. We came back with tiny stacks of each book, right? So we came in with 100 of each. We walked out with tiny stacks. We killed. We came in the next year with professional printed books. Nothing. Damn.
We went. I did one of my first couple of years. I went to San Francisco for APE, the Alternative Press Expo, which is I don't know if it exists anymore. It's a spinoff of San Diego Comic Con and all that. So we went up there, and I had I don't know. I think I had Critter, Penny for Your Soul. That might have been it. I just had those couple of issues, and I'm sitting there, and it's in this really weird convention hall. It's almost like a ski lodge. It's all wood. I was like, this is bizarre. but it's kind of cool at the same time because it's kind of casual. It's not like a hyper flea market sort of experience like cons often are. And but what was crazy was I would get people to walk by and they'd see the books and they'd be like, "Oh, what is this?" And then they'd open the book up and they'd see color, like and it was like they were vampires to sunlight. They were why is it color? I'm like, because color is awesome. And they're like, I wish this was all black and white. Like I want to see I'm just like, go away.
You were at the wrong show.
Go away. But that was the real honest to God reaction. And it wasn't just one person. It was like over and over again. They were like, why isn't it black and white? Like everybody here does black and white stuff. I'm like, that's false. I know people here that don't do black and white, but it was a really weird experience.
Yeah. Just a different audience. That's all.
Yeah.
Jay, answer your own question. Do you even remember your own question?
He doesn't know the answer. That's why he needed the answer from us. And we gave him all these different answers.
No, incorrect, sir.
The fast lane, Jay, and then there's 3 other lanes that are a little bit slower.
I'm with Jay. Stay in your lane here. And
There
weaving
you go, John. I'm
Cut
in
me
my
off.
fucking lane, bro.
You're right. Jay's all the way.
Lane.
in the slow lane. No.
In the slow lane. I'm
Carpool.
enjoying it. Yeah, you know what? I'm in the slow lane.
Go
And
at your
I'm
own
cruising.
pace. It's fine.
I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. I gotta have a good time, right? Because when I
That's all
die
we're here for, right?
and they put that on my gravestone, he did his best and he got better. On it's not gonna fucking work because nobody's gonna see my fucking
Just
gravestone.
a little slow. That'll be it. Just a little slow.
Just a little slow, bro.
Yeah.
That's another one for a shirt.
You're
Here you go.
Couldn't remember his own password.
Marcus, you're up.
I'm going to ask a very much more generalized question. This is probably going to be my last show for the year. Fingers crossed. We'll see. I'm going on vacation this week. But in the spirit of the year closing down, what has everybody got coming in 2025?
Oh,
Not that question. Okay, Tom, you're up.
What are your 2025 plans? I want to know them.
2025 is the 15-year anniversary for Big Dog Inc. So we have 8 campaigns happening throughout the course of the year with a couple of little special like 24-hour and weekend special things that we'll be doing on crowdfunding. We'll be at cons quite a bit, looking to get back some of the cons that we haven't been at in a while, like possibly Planet Comic Con and some of those places. And the show that invited us down last year in San Antonio, big Texas Comic Con, they are in the process of potentially expanding their entire con, but they also want to bring myself and Nei back down, as well as a whole bunch of other Big Dog Inc. people, to do a 15-year anniversary celebration down in San Antonio. So that's in the process of being developed right now. It's nothing is 100% yet, but we have pretty regular communication with them, and it seems like it's going to happen. So once that's sort of finalized, we'll let everybody know. But that is the first of the cons that has sort of recognized what we're doing and wants to make a big deal out of it.
That's awesome.
Cool. Chris, what are your thoughts?
There is something that we're working on right now that I can't really say because it's supposed to be for a submission for a publisher, but I guess I'm gonna go back to form to Jazz. I kind of spent the second half of this year making a bunch of new IPs, and which has been fun. But I get a lot of DMs now where they're asking for when's that third one coming back? When are we going back to Jazz? So I guess I'm gonna go back to Jazz next year and kind of focus on that. With this new schedule that I'm trying to do less work on online. So just kind of winging it so far. But yeah, no, definitely Jazz. Jazz will be back.
All right, cool. John. What do you got planned?
Well, it's also my 15-year anniversary, Tom, and I started around the same time, but I screwed up the first company. So it's only the 5-year anniversary of Part-Time Comics. So we're doing 5 books. Last year we did 4 books and a trade paperback. This year we're doing 5 books, 2 ongoing series, the end of an ongoing series, and a brand new horror one-shot. So I like to stay busy. So I got a lot of plates in the air all at the same time.
Very nice. Very nice. Jay?
All right, let me see. 2008, 2009, 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Take off your shoes. You might be able to get that.
I'm all right. So what am I at? 16 year? No, 17 year? 2008?
Yeah, 16. Yeah. Oh, 17 next year.
Yeah. 2000 May of 2008 makes 17. I got no big anniversary thing planned, but Shield of the Interceptors numbers 6 and 7 will be coming out this year. Shield, the Dead Princess Vicky Styx number 2 is coming out this year. We're gonna run the table back on some of our failed projects from last year. One of those being the collected trade of the Storm Chasers, the second half of that series, and we're gonna run back our action figures this year. I know Tom can't wait to be a part of that campaign. He's looking forward to it, and a few conventions this year. Joe Fest in Augusta, Georgia, in June, and New York Comic Con so far on the docket.
All right.
Wait, you're really going to JoeCon? Like you're official to that?
Have I paid for the spot yet? No.
Okay.
I haven't paid for the fucking spot yet. No. Why? What's up? You going?
Well, I mean, I was just curious, considering you don't have your toy yet, why you would.
Oh,
I mean, obviously you can do as a promotion. Certainly, you can be like, "Hey, we're working on this,"
Yes.
whatever. But I didn't know if they would let you in to promote versus, if you actually have.
As long as you pay for the table, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yes and no. It depends on the con. Some cons want you to have something to put on the table.
There'll be stuff on the table. We'll have the prototypes. We'll have a nice display going.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
Well, Jay, out of curiosity, how much is a table at JoeCon?
Let's not talk about those numbers right now, buddy.
Why? Is it because Blender's watching?
Yeah. What do you want?
He doesn't want his wife to find out how much he put on the credit
That
card.
sounds like it's going to be about $1,000 a table.
Yeah, that sounds expensive. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I got John's the only one on my side right now. Come on, bro.
Help us
Wait
out.
for it, Jay.
We're all
What's
trying
going
to
on?
figure out. We're all trying to figure out how to do this. So what's a JoeCon table?
Jay, we're waiting.
And I assume it's just a table, right? Like sort of Artist Alley style.
Or is it a 10 by 10 booth?
No, it's not much. You get to pay for I don't remember if it was a 10 by 10 or corner booth. But you're provided 1 table, 2 chairs. If you want to pay for an extra table, it's like 4 and change. It's honestly, it's not much.
That's not
bad.
bad.
No, that's not that bad. Yeah. Once you get out of New York, prices start to level up.
Yeah. And that was their premium one. So I want to say it's a 10 by 10, but I don't remember. I do know it was a corner. I prefer corners, and you pay extra for the secondary table. Yeah, no, it's not just that. It's because you know what?
I'm going to go to JoeCon. I'm going to sign up right now.
He's signing up right now.
Yeah.
You gotta jump on the waiting list at this point. They hit.
No, I'll tell them that it's me, and it'll be fine.
You son of a mother flower. Jesus, you see, she's asking me questions in the fucking comments. You see?
You mean like this?
Yes, that's the real price, my love. Yes. Yes.
All right. So for myself, it's funny. I was just working this out today. and I was putting together my list of how many Kickstarters I'm planning to do. So, I mean, and that's just Oswald. So I'm probably 7 to 9 to 10, maybe. I don't know. And then, then there's Dreamweaver's Magi's Grace and Tall Tales. So yeah, there's gonna be a few of them.
Wow. I bet I was busy.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, there's gonna be a few campaigns going up there, but it's and then there's other stuff that I'm working on as well that's outside of the usual places. So we'll see how that works out too. But that I'm not gonna talk. I'm not even gonna breathe about that until I already tried, till I've already gotten in there. But I mean, listen, I look at it like this: is hope springs eternal, the delusion is real, and you got to keep pushing forward.
Tom is really looking into the fucking Joe Fest.
Yeah, dude, I'm doing it right now.
Right now.
It actually, it's in June, so it's like it's a good.
Yeah, it's the end of June.
It's 2 weeks after I'm in New York. Oh, what's interesting is
you're coming to New York.
Well, I go to New York Extravaganza in Chittenango every year in June.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. I thought you were coming to the real part of New York.
Fuck that place.
Yeah.
And then the
Might as
week
well-
after,
might as well say
the
you
week-
go to Massachusetts.
the week after
That's
that
what the fuck
is,
it is up there,
the week
bro.
after that is Friday the 13th,
Uh-huh.
and down in New Jersey at the camp, they're doing a Friday the 13th special event on Friday the 13th at the original Camp Crystal Lake. So that's the following week, and then the week after that is Joe Fest. So I got a ding, ding, ding. I can just travel right down the side of the country and do 3 things in a row.
Nice.
All right, so you wanna meet me in Jersey, and we drive down to. Oh, you're gonna have your own ride. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I'll have my own. I'll be driving.
Yeah.
I'll be driving, but you can follow me.
I know. I'm most likely gonna fly down to Jacksonville, where I got family, and then drive up 4 hours.
Nice.
There you go. Michael says he's in Massachusetts. Like being around Massachusetts.
So yeah, 10 by 10 corner booth with one table is $350.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
that's
the extra table. is
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
that's
So
nothing.
Marcus, answer your question, sir.
We only got about 40 minutes left, so.
So yeah, I mean, try to truncate that. Do what I did. Pull out the list. Just show us the list.
I don't keep a list, me, my spreadsheets. Everything.
Oh well, you can show us the spreadsheet. I mean, that's fine.
No, yeah, I mean, just real quick, we have Slight Return from Rob Pilkington and Heather Vaughn coming out in January. Then after that, we'll probably have our first tabletop D&D module for the Paradox side coming out. I got the team together on that. Just finished talking with the art team, so we're gonna get started on that over the break and hopefully have that ready to go by mid-February. So that's gonna be really cool. That's something that I did in adjacent to doing the comic stuff that I found out that actually people like when we write the D&D campaigns. They've been having a lot of fun with it, and they've been
Nice.
successful. So
That's cool.
now we've built that audience internally within Odyssey. So we're gonna go ahead and get some more stuff over to them. They're great too, because it's like it's like a third the price of doing a comic book to do one of those, because you don't need art on every page. You just need some key pieces, every few pages. Then we'll have Nobody's Princess 4 coming and wrapping up. Subsequent trade paperback for that. Phelan Wood 3, wrapping that up too. Yubi's number 2 coming. Then we'll have Iberian 4. So yeah, a lot of stuff for probably the front half of the year. It's going to be pretty jam-packed. And then we probably have about 4 new projects that we're going to be launching too. One of them is in the can already. One of the team is getting started on art right now, and it's probably going to launch around middle of the year for a graphic novel, and a couple other things too. So yeah, we've been sitting on them for a while and yet to announce them, but it's going to be a lot coming through.
All right, cool.
And as such, I'm taking way scale back from doing a lot of cons and traveling and stuff. At this point, it's just been
Too much.
a lot going on. Yeah, a lot going on with me personally too, between work and health and and everything else. It's just I'm needed most in the places that I'm occupying right now, and if I could squeeze in little cons here and there, I'll probably be doing those. But probably doing more events at shops and signings and things like that here and there. But I'm putting most of the effort into just creating, because we're in this sort of transition where, as I mentioned, a lot of the initial things we did for Odyssey are going to be wrapping up. So now we're getting into the new era of books and creators that we'll be working with, and I'm excited for that.
All right, cool.
My list ain't gonna touch yours though. I know
that. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I wanted to put out 4 trades this year. I only got out 2, so I was just like, but I think I did about 8 or 9 campaigns. So yeah. So I mean,
so why didn't you get to the trades?
Because
your key. That's your evergreen, baby.
I know. Trust me, I'm upset too. Shit. But anyway, they're coming. But all right, listen, I'm gonna softball everybody. So, guys, what is your Grail comic book that you don't own that you'd like to own? What's that one book you'd like to get your hands on that you don't own that you want to own?
I already know Jay's.
What do you think it is?
First appearance of Galactus. Look how right I am.
I think we were up to Chris. So Chris, what are your thoughts? What's that Grail item that you're looking for?
People will assume that I'm going to say some like obscure like manga book, and then they'll shake their hands and go, "Oh yes, quite manga, quite." No, I don't have, and I don't know where to find it for the cheap, but I do not have the DC Kingdom Come book yet, and I would like to at some point get it in my hands, but I'll just stick with the Superman versus Muhammad Ali book that I stole about 20 years ago. You're gonna find out a lot about me. I like to steal.
All right, that's fair. So yeah, okay, that's cool. John, what are your thoughts? What's your Grail book?
Yeah, like I said, I really don't like the floppies. I'm a bad collector.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, probably just. I mean, you might see my stuff back here. My favorite series was the Max. I still don't have his first appearance in what is it, Kamiko Primer number 5 or something like that. Something easy like that. I'm not like hunting for, Amazing Fantasy 15 or anything like that. I'm not much of a collector. It just gives me anxiety to have something that valuable laying around. So,
gotcha. Tom,
laying around. You got Amazing Fantasy 15. It's just on the coffee table next to an open Coke. It's a comic book. It's fine.
Just roll it up, put it in your hip pocket.
I'm similar, really, honestly. There's a few things that I have that I think are cool. Like I have the first appearance of Elf Quest and things like that. I've got a handful of little things, but I don't really collect keys on purpose. Like that was just something that I wanted because I liked Elf Quest, so I got it at one point. But if there's sort of just that one thing that anyone wants to just hand one over is fine. I wouldn't mind having like a Wonder Woman number 1. I've collected Wonder Woman like my whole comic book collecting career. I think the earliest one I have is maybe in the 90s. Late 90s is about the oldest that I have. I do have a Sensation Comics that I bought cheap just so I could say I had one, but it's not like a key or anything. But that would be cool to have, because that would tie into the stuff that I collect. Like I've already got the first appearance of Zatanna because I've got all of her stuff. So I don't know. I think it would just be sort of extreme stuff like that, but I'm not that guy who's like, oh, I got to get that Hulk 181. Like I don't, it doesn't matter to me. I'm too much of a reader now to worry about, I have all the Wonder Woman, like the hardcovers, right? All the old Peter art stuff. So like the first 4 hardcovers has like the first like 30 issues or whatever it is of the original Wonder Woman. So I can read it very happily that way. I don't need to have something that's, the price of a car. in a box somewhere.
True. Marcus, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, this is a boring panel because I'm a lot of the same way. I'm not a collector. I never could be because I was too broke to ever entertain any thoughts of that. But a lot of stuff I already have because I'm a sentimental collector. So usually characters or creators that I like. I like a particular book that sort of encapsulates all of those together. So one of my favorite characters is Nightwing. One of my favorite artists ever were George Perez. One of my favorite writers ever was like Marv Wolfman. So like getting like Teen Titans first appearance in Nightwing, like that was like one of my grail ones. And I got it for 50 cents from a baseball card shop that sold comics and didn't know what they were doing. So I went there every week when they re-upped on inventory and spent like $1.50 getting $50, $60, $70 comics that I've been wanting for a long time. I got that. I got Spawn #1. I got the first printing of Frank Miller's Ronin. I got a bunch of Daredevil Born Again. So I think the one thing that I don't have is the original run of Batman Year One for Frank Miller and David Mazzucchelli. So if I get that, that'd be cool. And if I really, really want to go pie in the sky, Amazing Fantasy 15. But yeah, I would never spend the money for something. If I can't live in it or drive it or sleep with it, then I'm not going to spend that much money. So.
Cool. Jay?
Even if I had the money, I'm not a Silver Age collector. It doesn't do it for me. I'm a 70. I was born in the 70s. I'm an 80s kid. Those of you who've been watching the show know I've been trying to complete my Byrne Marvel run. Which is going to be really fucking expensive. I doubt I'll do it, but I picked this one up today. Right, the Death of Phoenix. I almost got burnt on this in when I picked up a Paul Smith. Excellent. Whatchamacallit? I almost got burnt on that final issue of the Phoenix Saga. Marvel was reprinting a lot of them.
It was paid $20 for a Fascino.
Yeah, dude. And I was like, I was in Coliseum Comics in Florida. I was like, what the fuck is this doing here? This is only $10. Why are they kidding me? Look at it. This is in pristine condition. And I'm like, I'm hyping myself up. And as I'm walking up, I see the barcode in the bottom. I'm like, no, wait a second. They didn't do barcodes on the bottom. So there's that, like G.I. Joe #1 would be nice.
I might still have that.
Yeah, G.I. Joe #1 would be nice. This is going to sound weird. Silver Surfer #1. I believe it was Ron Lim did that.
No.
No.
Ron Lim came on with like issue 6 or something on that series.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. Yeah, no, because I got a lot of Ron Lims, and Ron Lim is my Silver Surfer guy. So I don't know who did it. So then
I love me some Ron Lim.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about the John Buscema run.
No, dude. Again, I'm like you're a Simonson guy, right? I'm a Friends guy, right? That those later ones, I know they were goofy. I know they weren't big sellers, but where you had the Eric Masterson as Thor. That was my run, dude. But I picked those up, right? So I picked those up on release, so I don't need to look for those. I got a lot of I'm trying to find some of those Byrne Captain America issues. I've got 3 of the 6 that he's done. Yeah, but that's it. I mean, all of this stuff that is affordable, right? It's within reason. It's $40 or $50 max, except for the Byrne X-Men stuff. But I doubt I'll ever complete those.
Gotcha. What's funny is like, I think the only thing that I probably want to get, because I stopped collecting floppies and Marvel and DC especially a long time ago, but I recently lost Vic and Blood 1 and 2. It's 2-issue limited series, illustrated by Richard Corbin, and written by Harlan Ellison. And I lost those 2 issues in a flood. And I don't know if it was Ripoff Press It was one of these companies. I'm pretty sure I could find them. But yeah, I think those are the only 2 books that I really need to get back in my collection.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, what's great, you know, it's funny, Jay, whenever you talk about those books, it bugs me out because I'm like, oh yeah, I bought all those books off the stands. I had all those books.
Well, that's how I feel about the late 80s from now, right? Because like Guardians of the Galaxy stuff, all of that, the McFarlane Spider-Man. I was picking them all up, right? And I see them. I'm like, oh, I got it. The Deadpool, the New Mutant stuff. I was like, oh, yeah, I got it. That's all in there. I know it's there because I bought it. But the stuff prior, the late 70s, the early 80s stuff. Like, I know this is going to sound weird. My dad had picked up, before he passed away, I remember 3 Power Man and Iron Fist books. I don't remember which issues there were. All I remember was in one of the panels, Iron Fist was hanging upside down on a fire escape. And I don't know if it was a crook or a criminal or if it was the Sabretooth.
These are the John Byrne, because I think he did 15 issues of that. Did he do 15 issues? I don't even remember.
I don't know. But I want to get that issue because I remember having it when my dad, before he passed.
It's crazy, right? How you can have like an image that burns into your brain, even if you don't know what it is. I had that for decades. I had this memory of Batman, and there was a big Christmas tree behind him, and there was a big fucking bear like coming out of the Christmas tree to get him. And I had that as a kid at some point, and it burned into my brain. And so years later, as I started to get really into collecting, I'm like, okay, I'm going to find that issue, but I didn't know what it was. So I'm just looking through Batman all the time, thinking that's a cover, right? And I'm like, God, I don't know what it is. I can't find this fucking image. Like, what is it? And then one day I find a cover with the bear on it, and I'm like, oh. So it must be the one that came before or after this. Like, here's this number. And then I'm looking and I'm like, no, it's not. And so I pull the one out with the bear and I open it up, and it's the first image on the inside of the book is that image that I've been looking for decades. And I was like, oh my God, there it is. And so I grabbed it. And it's an inconsequential issue, but it was finally one of those things I could get out of my skull trying to find this thing.
It's an unfinished task.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, man. Comics. Fuck.
Jay, you got another question?
Yeah. Do independent comic books need, or can they, or should they have that one sales marketing character that can go into any book and boost somebody's sales, like Cerebus, or how they put Spider-Man in a book or Wolverine or Deadpool in a book and sales numbers jump, right? And I remember Cerebus was like that for indie books. Do we need another Cerebus? Is there a Cerebus? I mean, is there something like that today?
Of course there is.
Okay.
I mean, put Lady Death in any book.
Okay.
You're going to
just
draw
saw
the
Savage
attention.
Dragon,
right?
another image book.
Yeah, it's the problem is not so much the character, because there's plenty of them. The problem is the ability to do it. The problem is the connection to that creator to say, hey, do you want to do a crossover with your character to my character? But then you start to run into, okay, well, who's going to make it? Who's going to write it? Who's getting paid? How do we do? All of a sudden it falls apart because, that sort of, there's sort of the ego aspect. There's the financial aspect. There's just the logistics of how do we do this? Back in the day, in the 90s, that was how you marketed your shit to somebody else. Valiant and Image did a terrible crossover, but it introduced characters both directions, right? Because it was a big deal. And it was doing stuff.
It introduced J. Scott Campbell to us, right?
That's right. So and then Top Cow was smart enough to do it with Marvel. So you had the Top Cow Marvel crossovers, like. I was about to say,
like, Valiant got big enough where they were, throwing Exo Manowar with Iron Man and video
right. Yeah. So,
but Cerebus showed up in Spawn.
Sure. Well, Cerebus showed up in Spawn for a specific reason, though. Cerebus showed up in Spawn because
that was one of the best issues.
Todd McFarlane and all of Image, they were getting shit on for their writing. And so Todd was like, all right, I got you. And he went and got Frank Miller and Alan Moore and Dave Sim and, all these guys to write like, I don't know, whatever it was, 4 or 5 issues of Spawn. What's funny is when Dave Sim turned in his script to Todd was like, I can't do this. And Dave Sim was like, tough shit. That's what you get. And so Todd was like, well, all right, I guess this is what we do. And so the issue became what it is. But another good example, right, is not Alan Moore. Neil Gaiman created Angela for Spawn, but down the line that became a problem. So if I were to do a crossover with Oswald, right, down the line, we're talking about reprints and stuff and all this, like, how does it work? Who gets the money? Like, if you don't have people that are doing it for the right reason, which is to elevate both, properties, like in their brains, they're like, let's do it. Let's elevate. And, we're good to go. You can just run into a lot of crazy problems when you're doing, crossovers or, even just anthologies with different people or whatever. It can become problematic just from people's expectations or weird thought processes.
Yeah. What's funny is Dave Sim, I guess part of the contract or part of the deal he had with Todd was that he could reprint that issue.
Right.
And he did it like a year and a half ago. I missed it. I was so mad. I missed that campaign. What is it? And he reprinted. I don't know if he recolored it or he did something.
I think he did it just in black and white. Didn't he just do like a black and white version?
No, I missed the campaign. I didn't get a chance to buy the book. I was so pissed.
Yeah, I remember that. I think it was just he did a black and white version. Yeah.
You want it? I got it.
Do you?
Yeah. Dude, I just told you I got all of that shit.
No. The new one that he did last year.
The new one. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I got the original.
I have.
It took him 40 years to do it, but he did it.
Yeah, okay. I have the originals.
Well, why would you want to buy it again?
Because he did something different with it.
Oh, he did?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we lost Chris. He's saying his Wi-Fi is going nuts.
I'm there. I know that feeling, bro.
Might as well glitchy all night.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, but see, again, like that reprinting stuff, like there's they did not Aspen, but before Aspen, Top Cow, they had the Tomb Raider license that they were doing for a while. Mm-hmm. And Tomb Raider appeared in Fathom Comics and some other stuff. They did crossovers. Once they lost the license to Tomb Raider, they lost the license to reprint any of that stuff. So you won't see a reprint of any Tomb Raider stuff.
Right.
As far as like trade paperbacks and that sort of thing, unless they go and pay for the rights to do it again.
Well, that happened with Marvel with the Micronauts and with ROM also.
That was a big deal.
Yeah, of course.
When they got the license.
Right. Yeah. Wait, they got it back? They got the ROM license back?
Yeah.
They do now.
They're doing omnis of Micronauts. They released. Right. I got the first 2. The third one is pending, and ROM. I think there's at least two omnis that are.
Now, is it ROM? Well, like, I'm not familiar with the stuff. Remember the Dire Wraiths?
Yeah, that's ROM.
Okay, ROM, but was just ROM protected or everything under the ROM umbrella?
I think they had to share the Dire Wraiths because I think like Marvel had their version, and I think the ROM.
Right, because they showed up in some X-Men issues.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, if Marvel created it, then they had some aspect of ownership to it. But if it was just part of what they licensed, that belonged to them.
See, that's weird when it comes to a property like Crystar. Marvel created it. Remco manufactured the toys, but they never kept the series going. They killed it, and it never showed up again ever. They never
That's because you are the only one who cares about Crystar.
No, I'm not. They did
the one.
They did the fucking Marvel Legend of this year, dude.
No one cares.
There's one person at Marvel cared.
There's a bunch of people that bought it.
Okay, 50 people cared.
But didn't Marvel also come up with the entire lineup for Transformers?
Well, they created the story and the names and stuff, but the toys themselves, like the actual things, those were already owned. Those were Diaclone and stuff in Japan.
Yeah.
So all they did was create the
good part.
Well, it wasn't just Diaclone.
American versions of the things. Yeah.
There was the Spy transforming line, which is where we got Megatron and Soundwave and the camera, which whatever. Yeah. Then you had the car line, the plane line, but then they bought. There's that whole Macross Robotech thing with the Jetfire character, but they tied it all together. And Bob Budansky was the one tasked with writing it. And Optimus Prime was almost called Headlights.
There you go.
But again, that's in that situation, Marvel was basically being paid to do it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Work for hire, essentially, which is what they do to everybody else. So if they created it, the guys that Hasbro, I guess, who brought it to them, they were like, look, you're going to do this, but it's our shit. So, that's why they still.
Yeah, I don't even remember. What was your question?
I don't fucking know.
We're running theme here, Jay.
All right, it's a good thing you're paying attention. Marcus, you got a question?
I'll remember his question if you want to continue the roundtable.
What?
So I remember his question if you want to.
What was his question?
Yeah, what did I ask?
You asked if there was like
a crossover character,
a new crossover character.
Oh, right. That's how we got into service. Right.
Yes.
So it's not.
I think shared universes are cool, but like Tom said, if it works, that's cool. But even I, as a kid, was like, why am I buying this Wild Thing book just because Venom and Spider-Man are in it? And then it wasn't even them; it was like a hologram or something. Like, this is bullshit. So it's cool. When you have the big universe, is super cool. I love that about the Marvel movies and stuff, that people are experiencing that now. But for independent books, I don't know if it necessarily is something that's needed, but I would like to see it here and there.
Yeah, if I could think of any that fit the bill off the top of my head, of course, Lady Death is there. Common America is another big one I could think of. So
Image United will be here any day now. I'm still holding out hope. Image United will finish.
No, they're never going to do that, bro.
No. Kirkman talked about that not long ago. He seemed to have some hope that that would be finally done. Yeah.
What did they do? 4 or 3?
I think they got 4 out of the 6 done. Something like that.
Oh, I didn't realize they got that far. Wow, great.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah, I would say the only other character that might be popular enough, and this would fall somewhere in my wheelhouse, would be Jeff Smith's Bone.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and maybe Usagi Yojimbo by Stan Scott.
Yeah.
Maybe
and that did cross over with Turtles.
Yeah, but those are really specific types of things. Like, they would fit with Oswald; they'd be great. But like doing like a Critter Usagi thing, I don't know that it would translate. I would be totally up for doing it. I think it would be really interesting and fun, but I don't know if it would translate to a sales standpoint.
Well, yeah, if you got Standard Jordan, you turn her into a cat, it'd be fun.
Oh, 100%. Like, Stan, I'm ready. I'm ready. We'll make it happen. It's good to go. But yeah, it's all sort of variable to what the brand is. I think it would be perfect for Oswald. Oswald meets Usagi Yojimbo would be fantastic.
Yeah. Also the Turtles. The Turtles are another group.
Sure. I mean, that's without saying, if you really want to, if you can call it indie anymore, the Turtles are eternal, and them crossing over with everything from He-Man to Batman to, I even see mobile phone games that got Turtles on them now. So it's just, they're everywhere. They never stop being everywhere.
Oh, no. Look, I'd love to have, Mage or Grendel in one of my books.
Always love Mage, yeah.
But I don't know if that would help boost your. I mean,
that's right. That's the thing.
I don't know. Mage is pretty popular in the
90s.
It was popular 40 years ago. No one knows what that is now.
I liked it.
You'd be better off with a Hellboy crossover. That's more relevant.
Oh, that's a good
modern audience.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
But that company's not going to do it now, right? What are they called?
Well, that's Mignola. You just talked to him.
No, it's not Mignola.
Of course it is. He owns it. He owns Hellboy.
Yeah, he's still the owner.
Yeah,
partial owner. He's not the owner.
He's the owner.
I mean, he owns it.
He could take it from Dark Horse.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's
Dark Horse
contracts,
is
but
creator on,
he owns it. Yes.
because he carried Dark Horse for so long. He kind of writes his own rules.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought they had a piece of that.
No.
Yeah.
Well, even if they have a piece, he is the primary
Yeah.
IP.
Yeah.
The majority stakeholder.
Majority. Yeah. What he says goes. They will let him do whatever.
And definitely a universe that would go great with some of these crossovers. Maybe some Ninja Turtles and Hellboy hang out, you know?
Yeah,
That would be
that'd be
nice.
fun. All right. So now, Marcus, there you go. Now's your chance. What's your question?
Oh man, I had to come up with two tonight.
The tough,
One previously probably should have been the one at the end of the night.
tough night.
No. I would say probably my question is there any particular new styles or formats that people are looking to experiment with? I say that because we ourselves here at Odyssey, I don't even have a name for it yet. I want to call it like I don't know. I got nothing for it. It's a book where it's not a full-length graphic novel, but it's bigger than your standard comic book. It comes in paperback or hardback, depending on your preference. 48 to 54 pages in length, single self-contained story.
Nice.
And these are sort of like the new things that we're coming out with. I'm looking to do more of them. So we just been calling them like deluxe one-shots is what they are. But this is something I'm trying to make like our bread and butter, like a little bit more. So when you pick up an Odyssey book and you're just like, oh, this is one of those weird one-shot Odyssey books that they do. Like, yeah, I'm gonna check it out. Those are cool. Any other things that you guys would like to experiment with in terms of format that's away from the traditional single release style or the standard graphic novel?
All right, cool. John.
I mean, all of it. I love all of it that's not a standard comic. But yet I still do most of mine because it's easier, to communicate with artists and format and print and all that. But I love that Distillery's doing the magazine style. I love seeing those. I know they're hard to stock.
A couple of those laying around.
And it just stands out to me. Even I've done, mini zine style comics. I like that too. I think, anything outside of the quote unquote norm, I'm definitely interested in doing. I've done a few magazine styles, and I just feel like, I don't know, it gives it just a different feel to the book when you pick it up. I don't know.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
Tom?
I'm doing we'll be doing our first ever original graphic novel next year. It'll still be theoretically comic book size, but it'll be like 100 pages at once. Boom, here's 100 pages, as opposed to doing 5 issues of 28 pages. We're just going to say here's the whole thing. So we're going to play with that next year and see how that goes. But I've also, talking about Distillery, that's something that I've been looking at for a while, is that oversized square bound thing that it is. I'm still completely unsold on it myself, because I've bought a few and I still am like, I don't know if I want this anymore. Like, because what do I do with it? How do I store it? What do I do now? Yeah. Although I will tell you that Distillery has now made their own boxes, that you can get it and put those in there. But if you've only got like 3.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, I said I love them and I pick them up every time and I'm like, yeah, maybe later.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do with it? Why is it $8.99?
You don't love them that much, John.
Why is it $10?
Yeah. But I like the format. I like the big book. I think it does stand out. I think if you were to, particularly if you're going to do that at like a Comic-Con, I think having that big book again would like stand out, particularly if you have some of your regular issues and then like, oh, what's this like supersized one? Like, tell me what that is. But if I decide to do it that way, it's going to be done with a very specific brand that we have that I'm designing and working on. And it's going to be sort of an imprint to Big Dog Ink. So it will be its own set of things that will be in that format, and it won't exist in, the smaller formats. So I've been really thinking about this. I even went so far as to think about how to potentially brand this thing in a different way at cons, to sort of create like this, I don't want to say mystery, but the way that I would set up the booth would be something that you can't see what's going on in the booth without like having to get in line and coming into the booth. seeing what's happening in there, buying your book, and then you go out the other way. So again, it would be something where it would be a unique setup. There would be a line of people, hopefully, and anytime you have a line of people, other people take notice. They're like, what are they waiting in line for? What is happening right there? And then hopefully they get in line, and then you can cycle it through. So I've been putting all of this in my head to kind of try and figure out, like, how do I do this? Is what kind of cost am I going to have this part of the booth in addition to like what I normally do and all that. But regardless of all of that, I do like the bigger book. And I think there's something there. You can't, one of the tricks though, is I don't think you can grade those things. I don't think CGC will grade that size. And so to some degree, you lose out on a touch of the collector mentality. But I think that if you were to do, like you were just talking about, if you were to do like soft covers and then like a special hardcover edition, particularly in that size, again, I think you're creating a better experience, a unique item. And so you sort of bypass the collector that we understand as collector. Like, I want the variant cover, I want the whatever, I want the foil. You sort of bypass that collector and you go into more of an advanced collector, which is like, I have this hardcover thing that maybe there's 100 of, and then you mass produce the paperbacks. So
what
again,
I'm kind of seeing too is that it like draws a whole different sort of person than the usual one. I mean, I saw this a little bit previously when we had our first graphic novel out, and the way I pitched them and everything, like the person interested in was completely different than the person that would like usually pick up our single issues.
Yeah, sure.
And I found it was odd because like I'm sitting there, barking and trying to get people to pick up my $5, $6 floppies, and then I have a $20 graphic novel, and people are just hand their money over.
Well,
and
people at cons specifically, most of those people are not really collectors. They're the general audience that kind of comes into a con. And if they're like, oh, like, what is that? And it's like a whole book, that to them is value, because you're getting a big old honking book versus, the limited edition, whatever it is. Oh, give me that whole story. I want that whole story.
Oh yeah. And then I tell them like, it's a self-contained story. Like there's no 1 or 2, volume 3 or 4. Then like, it's like a wave of relief like washes over them, and then they throw it in too. And it's also a weird thing that I've seen with more independent shops and things like that too. They were like, we want trades, we want books, we want that. They don't want to get into floppies a whole lot in the space. They want stuff that's done. And that goes back to, and I'm not saying we can sell to these people, but that goes back to the manga concept where they're getting these big books. So there's this perceived bonus value that you're getting more for your money. But again, if it's not a trade paperback and you're not reprinting material, it's all new material, the price point's going to have to, come up a bit.
And that's really what I wanted to do with Part-Time Comics, but I just couldn't afford the larger costs to produce. And I just really, like I said, the floppies are just a bane of my existence. But
yeah, this whole thing is even coming apart because I have, the connections and means to make those bigger books for an exceptional value right now. So I can give readers, a nice book like that, nice chunky book for a really nice price, like some price that some people are charging for, single 30 issue comics. You can get a hardcover from me that's a full story finished from the back for that same price. So it changes the economics of everything, and they're a lot more profitable in the long term too for what we're doing. So
the distillery books are magazine size, right? They're just 8.5 by.
They're a little more.
They feel wider. They're like squarer.
They do feel wider. They're a little more square. Yeah, they're a little bigger than a magazine.
Oh, okay.
They're not quite a treasury, but they're not a magazine either. They're kind of sort of somewhere in the middle.
Floating in the middle. Gotcha. That's annoying.
Super annoying. It's cool though. It stands out on the shelf.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know the books are ignore when I see them. Jay, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was thinking about the magazine stuff too, but the market is trending towards the digest size, right? It's coming back around again. Shops are raving about how the digest size.
Speaking of,
There you go.
Superman for all seasons.
There you go.
Sorry, All-Star Superman.
All-Star Superman.
In the new size format for DC.
And they're killing
$10. It's a no-brainer.
Right. Right. And would we have a chance of maybe capturing a few extra orders if we promote in that size?
Fuck that. I am not going smaller ever on my products at any time. Zero chance of that.
I'm doing 6x9, so the Iberian hardcover is a 6x9, so it's down from
that's digest. Yeah. And I'm so sorry to cut the conversation short. I really do appreciate I have to help my son with something before he goes down for the night. So
sorry.
I apologize.
We hit the top of the hour anyway. So John, before you go, where can we find you and your work, sir?
Thank you so much for having me on. I rarely get invited to these things, so I'm very grateful that you reached out. Thank you so much. But yeah, right here, this is the best way to find me. I know it's a cheesy link, but then you can choose how you want to engage at the link tree. Do you want to follow on social media? Do you want to go to our mailing list? Would you rather just follow a Kickstarter and not be bothered by me? Otherwise, you get to pick. But I'm Part-Time Comics with an X on all social medias if you do want to track me down there. I'm pretty active on all of them. And I'm still one of the few who likes to chat on social media.
All right, cool. John, it was great having you. Anytime you want to come back.
Take care.
Thanks, everybody.
Nice meeting you, John.
All right. Tom, where can we find you and your work, sir?
All of your social medias, you can find me, but we do primarily all of our stuff on Facebook, and then it filters out from there. We have a Patreon as well. If you like to watch, sort of how we make the soup, that's what we do over on Patreon. And we're starting to flood it with stuff that you'll be seeing all year next year for 2025 and our 15-year anniversary.
All right, cool. Marcus, where can you find you and your work, sir?
OdysseyComics.com. There you go.
All right. Jay?
UnstoppableComics.com. You can find all of my social media links on that website. And here, Sundays with this guy. And sometimes on Fridays when I can get it together.
Well, you got to get out of work first, right?
Yeah, I didn't get home until 9:10 on Friday.
Yeah.
Well, Friday is my birthday, so I expect something impressive this week.
Oh, nice, man. How old are you going to be?
That's not relevant.
No, you had me tell you the price and everything and get burned by the wife.
It's one of the rules, Jay. You never ask the comic creator the rate.
The ladies.
Yeah.
I'm 5,000 issues old, whatever that equates to.
Oh man, congratulations, dude.
Tom told us on another show. Was he 53, right?
Yeah. So you're gonna be 50. Right, because he's between you and me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you know what, Marcus, bro, you fucking piss me off because you don't have one speck of gray in your beard, bro. That shit fucking.
It's the lighting. If I turn here, it's all coming in, buddy.
He fills it in. He gets that stuff at the store.
I'm telling you guys got to start watching now because I was talking to one of my creators last night. We realized that when comic creators punch their ticket a little bit early, they usually fall in the 52 to like 57 age range. When you start looking at how many comic creators have passed over that, it's a scary list once it starts coming down. So
watch your asses, guys.
Don't stress out too much about any of this stuff. It's not
you and me, Marcus, we're good. You and me, we're good. The guys over there, they got issues. They got problems.
Oh God, like the beautiful lady sings, "I will survive."
There you go.
All right. So I'm JD Calderon. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and all these different places. TheOzzoChronicles.tech.com. And primarily right now on Kickstarter with the Ozzo Chronicles. So go check that out. And please, everyone, go check out those show notes. There are all of these creators. All their links are in those show notes. Click those links. Buy those books. All these creators who are on this show today do great books. So please go check them out. They're all awesome. Go check them out. And just remember, everyone, read more indie comics, especially ours. Have a good night. Thank you.
Take care.